Now, I'll be explaining you about the poem Palanquin Bearers by Sarojini Naidu. What is a palanquin? If you've ever seen it before, this is a picture of a palanquin. This is a structure which is being carried by two men using two poles that are attached to the palanquin. Okay? And it used to be there in earlier times. You must have seen in the storybooks or maybe some olden movies. Okay, what is a palanquin? A structure formerly used in East Asia for transporting one person. It consists of a box that is carried by 4 or sometimes 6 people by means of 2 long poles. Now once again I'll show you the picture. It is a structure which is carried by 2 people on 2 poles, and usually palanquin was used by royal people or people in power. And in one palanquin majorly 1 or 2 people could sit. It used to be carried by maybe 2 people, 2 bearers. Bearers are the people who carry the palanquin, or maybe by 6 when the palanquin was heavy. Okay, I hope you've understood what a palanquin is. Now, palanquin bearers. First paragraph. Lightly, oh lightly we bear her along. She sways like a flower in the wind of our song. She skims like a bird on the foam of a stream. She floats like a laugh from the lips of a dream. Gaily, oh gaily we glide her and we sing. We bear her along like a pearl on a string. Now basically this whole poem has been narrated in the voice of the bearers, the people who are carrying a bride from her mother's house to her husband's house. So this whole poem is about the journey from the bride's mother's house to her husband's house, and it has been spoken or recited in the voice of the bearers. So the bearers are saying, lightly, oh lightly we bear her along. That means very softly we are carrying the bride along. She sways like a flower in the wind of our song. That means that the bearers are not feeling burdened at all because they are carrying a heavy structure on their shoulders. Because in the olden times, whenever the bearers or the people used to be given this task of carrying the bride from one place to another, it used to be a matter of pride for them. They used to feel really happy. And they used to feel really proud that they were supposed to carry the bride. So now they are saying that we don't feel the weight at all. And lightly we are carrying her, and she is swaying like a flower in the wind of our song. That means these bearers are singing a song, and they say while we sing, this palanquin is also moving like a flower because of the movement of the bearers. Flowers move very softly when the wind blows, right? So similarly, the bride is also moving, and the carriage, the palanquin is also moving very softly, just like flowers move in the wind of the song of the bearers that they are singing. Song is being compared to wind. Wind is very soft. So bearers are also singing a very polite and a very soft song. And the bride is also moving, swaying very softly because of the movement of the carriage or the palanquin and the bearers. She skims like a bird on the foam of a stream. Now, if you've ever seen birds floating on water, they never go into the water. They float, they glide very softly over the water, over a stream, over the froth of a stream. Froth means the topmost layer of the water. Similarly, these palanquin bearers are also moving like a bird. They're taking very quick and soft steps because they are not feeling the weight of the palanquin as well as the weight of the bride. So they say we are also gliding, and the bride is also moving, and the palanquin is also moving very softly, just like birds glide on water. She floats like a laugh from the lips of a dream. So dreams, whenever you have a very pleasant dream, sometimes in your dreams also you have a smile on your face because you're watching a very pleasant and a beautiful dream. So similarly, just like a dream, this bride is also floating. They are also carrying this bride, and the palanquin is also moving just like a soft laughter from a dream. So everything is being held and carried very smoothly and in a very graceful manner. Gaily, oh gaily we glide and we sing. Gaily means happily. So happily we are gliding. That means we are carrying her and we are singing along. We bear her along like a pearl on a string. Pearl on a string means string is a kind of a necklace. You must have seen your mothers sometimes wearing gold or diamond jewelry. So whenever they wear that, the mothers feel very proud and they feel very happy about themselves when they wear such valuable and precious things. So similarly, they're saying we are also carrying this bride with pride and with high value. She's also as precious as the pearls. That means precious stones in a string. Okay. Paragraph 2. Softly, oh softly we bear her along. She hangs like a star in the dew of our song. She springs like a beam on the brow of the tide. She falls like a tear from the eyes of a bride. Lightly, oh lightly we glide and we sing. We bear her along like a pearl on a string. So again they are saying that very softly we are carrying the bride along. She hangs like a star in the dew of a song. Now stars look very pretty when you look at them during the night. So they say that bride can also be compared to a star because she is also hanging like a star. Hanging because she is above the ground. The palanquin is also above the ground, so it's almost hanging on the shoulders of the bearers. So she hangs like a star in the dew of a storm. Dew are drops of water that get accumulated over soft surfaces, over cool surfaces at night, especially because the vaporization in the atmosphere. So you must have seen on the leaves, you can see drops of water at night. Okay, so they say that she is also looking very beautiful, the bride as well as the palanquin. It is just like a star who can be seen at night along with the drops of water that get accumulated. So it's a very beautiful night scene. So similarly, the bride is also compared to such a star who is very beautiful. She springs like a beam on the brow of a tide. Now springs means rises. Now you must have seen waves of water rising up and down. Brow means the topmost layer of water. Okay, so when the waves of water move up and down, and especially at night, you can see the reflection of light from the surroundings on the water. So similarly, this bride is also shining like a ray of light because she is all dressed up in good clothes and bright clothes. So she is also rising along with the movement of the palanquin, and she is looking very bright. And just like rays of light reflect on the water, there is reflection of her clothes on her face because she is wearing very bright and beautiful clothes. She falls like a tear from the eyes of a bride. Now see, there are two situations that are being compared. In a bride's life, when she is getting married, she has two kinds of feelings. At one time, she is very happy about the fact that she is getting married and she is going to be going to a new house and she will be meeting her soulmate. But at the same time, she is also sad because she is going to leave her parents' house. She is going to leave her childhood behind. So till now in the poem, we have spoken about happy things that the bride is compared to. She is happy, she is bright, she is being carried softly. But now there is a extreme opposite situation that being compared, that she falls like a tear from the eyes of a bride. The bride is compared to a tear. That means she is sad. She is almost in tears because she is leaving her parents behind. She is leaving her past life behind as she is going to be entering a new life now. Lightly, oh lightly we glide and we sing. That means we are gliding like birds very softly. We are carrying her along while singing a song. We bear her along like a pearl on a string. That means we are carrying her like a very precious thing, a very valuable thing. Now, I hope you understood the poem, and in this poem there are various poetic devices that are used. Poetic devices are the devices that are used in poetry to create rhythm, to create melody, to cast an impact on the minds of the readers. Now, first poetic device that is being used is similes. You must have done similes where there is a comparison of one thing to another. In previous classes, when two things are compared to each other, mostly using as. For example, you can say her clothes are as soft as cotton. So clothes are compared to cotton, which is very soft. That means her clothes are very soft. Now let's see where are similes in this poem. Moving on to the first paragraph. She sways like a flower. Now she is being compared to a flower. So this is a simile. That means they are comparing the bride to a flower. Understood? Then she skims like a bird. She is being compared to a bird as well. So there is a comparison of two things. This is a simile. Next we have repetition. Repetition means repeating words, lines and phrases or stanzas again and again. When there is a repetition of things. Now I'll move on to first paragraph. Can you see which things are being repeated? Which words or which lines are being repeated? Lightly or lightly. There's a repetition of word lightly. Then if you see the last line, we bear her along like a pearl of a string. And in the second paragraph again, the last line, we bear her along like a pearl on a string. So there's a repetition of two lines again and again. So this is known as repetition, when lines or words are repeated again and again, so that a kind of an imagery can be created in the minds of the reader. Then we have alliteration. Now what is alliteration? when a number of words having the same first consonant sound or letter occur close together. Now you know what consonant sounds are? All the alphabets except A, E, I, O, U. They are vowels, right? So when the consonant sounds are repeated again and again, when consonant sounds or such words starting with the same alphabets are placed very close together, that is known as an alliteration. Let's see where. Now see, lightly or lightly. L sound is being repeated very closely together. Lightly, lightly. Can you see such words again somewhere else? Gaily or gaily we glide. So there's G sound and these words have been placed close together. There's a repetition of G sound, right? Gaily, gaily, glide. So again and again repetition of same alphabet and same sound. This is known as alliteration. Okay? See in paragraph 2 also, softly or softly, there's a repetition. Soft S sound is repeated again and again. Understood? She springs like a beam on the brow. B sound is being repeated. Beam, brow, B. So this is known as a alliteration. Then metaphor. Metaphor is a figure of speech that describes an object or action in a way that isn't literally true, but helps explain an idea or make a comparison. So metaphor is basically when you compare one thing to another, but those two things have no connection as such. For example, I can say that she was running like a train. Now obviously a girl cannot be a train, right? But here I'm talking about the movement. I'm comparing a girl to a train because she was moving as fast like a train. Now let's see where we can find metaphors where two things are related but technically they have no comparison. There is no similarity between them. For example, let's say in the first paragraph, we have she sways like a flower. Now a girl is being compared to a flower. A girl is not a flower. Neither is a palanquin a flower, but there is a comparison made just to talk about the softness. The basic theme is the same between the two things, but as such they are not related or connected to each other. Wind of our song. Wind and song are being compared, but technically there is no relation between a wind and a song. But what they are trying to say? That a wind also blows and creates a kind of a rhythm in the atmosphere. Similarly, when somebody sings, there is a rhythm that surrounds us. There is a melody that surrounds us. So when two things are compared and those two things are not at all related to each other. Understood? These are metaphors. And similes are also comparisons, but most of the time similes are used with as fast as train, as soft as cotton. Most of the times they come with as only. And in metaphor, there is a comparison, but two things are not at all related to each other, but there is a basic theme that connects them. Okay? Now, I hope you people have understood this poem, and I would like all of you to read it once again so that the basic idea is clear in your minds. Thank you.